Welcome to North Wilkesboro. We're going to do one lap around this track with Brian Johnson. Brian is the fastest in practice tonight so far at 17.342. Brian, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, bud. We're going to be in your passenger seat here, so you take this careful. Don't wreck us, because I don't have auto insurance. So you take us through this and tell us how this track's handling for you tonight.
Yeah, number one, you got to be really careful getting off pit road there. You only have a few yards, and then you're on the track, so you have to be really mindful. Now, through the corners, you want to be extremely smooth, let it rotate. Don't try to force the issue. You want to focus on not spinning your tires and your drive off.
So I see you're backing up a little bit here. Well, there's a wreck right there, and we're going to see a lot of those tonight, but you're kind of backing up before you get to the corner, and you're using a little brake to kind of set the car. Is that what we're going to see tonight, or are we going to see people trying to go all out and hitting the wall here?
You're going to be seeing both. I've seen both techniques, driving it in hard, washing up the track, and just those folks are going to eat up their right front real quick, and they're going to really fall off. What you really want to focus on is easy in, easy out. Don't slide your tires, don't drive it in too deep, and then don't drive it off too hard. So you want to focus on keeping the tires up under you, especially if there's going to be a long run, because this thing it will get snappy loose once you get more laps on your tires.
So this isn't going to be a field mileage race. Now, I see a lot of seesawing going on in that steering wheel. Is this something that we can see all night, or is it just unmanageable, the front end a little loose? What's going on there?
Just how I have my car set up. I have it set up a little bit free. It helps me with that center rotation. If you have more center rotation, you're going to have more speed here.
I gotcha. Well, you are certainly got some speed. You're about 1/10 faster than second place right now, which happens to be Chris Johnson. The Johnson brother. Is this going to be a Johnson brother race tonight?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this plays out. I think we got a good long run car going. It's just got to play out right. If we're going to have a lot of cautions, a lot of short runs, then maybe not. We'll see.
Well, rumor has it you've won a couple of these A Opens this week so far. How many have you got behind you so far?
Yeah, I've won about 4 of them this week.
4 of them. That's pretty impressive. I mean, this is one of these tracks where I haven't ran on North Wilkesboro. I'm kind of avoiding it as far as I can, but usually tracks like this, I try to just survive and stay out of trouble. Is that something that you think is going to be tonight? If you're not up front, you just want to try to survive?
Oh, definitely. If I end up mid-pack, you just want to take it easy. Don't overdrive the car. Just race the track, and the cars will come to you.
Yeah, because we're already seeing, just being an in-car with you here, we've watched already 2 wrecks, people sliding in front of you. The track speed is fairly slow, so it looks like you should be able to avoid it. But if it's right on top of you, of course, that's unavoidable. But all right, Brian, I appreciate you letting us ride around with you tonight. You're looking good tonight, and maybe we'll talk to you again on a win or a podium.
All right, thanks, Al. Well, hopefully we put on a good show for you.
All right, brother, I appreciate you, and you guys always do put on a great show, but hopefully you guys all end clean tonight, and you have a wonderful race. We'll talk to you soon, Brian. Thanks for talking with us.
Thanks, bud.
Momentarily, we're going to try to get a hold of second place in the points championship. That's Stephen West. Stephen West is going to be with us momentarily. He drives a 74 machine. And let's see, wait for we get contact with Mr. West, and we will have a conversation with him. Stephen West, you got your ears on?
I got you. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Steve. How are we doing tonight, bud?
Pretty good, pretty good. How are you?
Not too bad, buddy. Well, we're going to see. Are you out on the track, Mr. West? No, you're on pit road. Would you mind taking us a lap around this track? Can you do that? Are you in your car?
Yeah, I can do that. Let me hop in and get out of the pit lane here.
Fire up. Let's see how we're going to do tonight. In the meantime, you're second place in points right now. You are you're solid second, but you do have Brian Johnson's right behind you at 19 points. What's going to be your plan of attack to retain that second place championship for tonight?
I'll be trying to beat Brian. He's pretty fast. He's P1 on the board right now, so I think I'm going to have my hands full doing that. But just try to stay consistent, stay on the lead lap, just keep running clean laps.
Now, is this going to be... we talked to Brian a couple minutes ago, and he mentioned that preservation of tires is very important during this race. Is that the kind of game plan you're going to run tonight, too?
Absolutely, yeah. You're seeing after 20, 30 laps, 2 seconds of fall off on a 17-second lap, so you're going to really have to take it easy into the corners, slow and fast off, and see how that goes.
Well, what about avoidance of the impossible? Is there going to be wrecks that you think we're going to happen here? Because I'm imagining we're going to have cars, plenty of lap cars, and I bet you we're not going to be 10 laps into this thing. We're going to have lap cars, but the wrecks is what I'm kind of thinking are going to be a hard thing to manage tonight.
Yeah, it's the same as every time. Just got to give everybody room and take some time, and hopefully everybody's patient. It's a long 200 laps around this place. It goes quick, but it's a workout around here. It's real bumpy, so.
Yeah, it looks like it. We're watching your car right now, and we do see a pattern. A lot of that seesawing back and forth. The cars, are they going to get looser the more laps you put on these tires, or what can we expect to see?
They start to get real tight in the center and then real loose off. That's kind of from what I've seen in my practice this week. Haven't done a ton of laps around here this week, but it still gets a little tight in the center.
Now we know as we watch real cup races that see, there we go. It got loose, and we're going to meet the wall. Yeah. Are your brakes? Do they wear down, or do they? You have issues with the braking throughout the race, or is that not something you notice on iRacing?
It's not really something you notice on here. It's more when you start to get into the turns, the back end of the car will start coming loose as your rear tires lose traction. So.
Okay, so we're just going to watch and see how much wear is on the tires as the laps go on. We're probably going to see a bunch of loose cars. Yeah, it does look like coming off these turns, you have to really baby it. Otherwise, you're going to end up going around and around and around and meet a wall by accident.
Yeah, it's a delicate dance, right?
It looks like it's going to be. Well, Steve, I appreciate you taking us around here a couple laps and showing us what happens. There's another one in the wall right there. So good luck tonight, and the worst case scenario is you could end up third, and that's not too bad for a season, bud. You've been a top performer.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's never too bad when the worst you can do is third, right?
Right. I mean, it could be worse. It could be 23rd. So,
that's right.
That's always a good thing to shoot for, and so the best would be second, and the worst could be third. So. Hopefully we get to talk to you at the end of this race on the podium with a win or the podium.
Yeah, thanks. I just want to give thanks to my teammates. They picked me up mid-season and definitely elevated my game. Kind of look at the last couple weeks, 2 seconds in a row, and everything.
Absolutely. Go ahead, talk about your sponsors and talk about your team. Go ahead. You got 2 minutes of fame. Go ahead.
It's all Phoenix Sim Sport. It's Kyle and Eric and Curtis and Mark and everybody else over there. Just helping me out with whether it's braking points or it's little fine adjustments. I don't really know much about setting these cars up. I know enough to be dangerous, but those guys really have their heads wrapped around it, and they're really good at looking at the data and really helping us out. I mean, they're making me better every week. They're making me look good, so I'll take it.
Teammates are awesome, brother. What about your sponsors on the car tonight?
It's all Phoenix Sim Sport. That's on there. It's Eric's design. I love this car. I ran that Frank's Red Hot for the longest time just because it was funny. But this car, I love this car. I show it off any chance I get.
Well, let's hope we see you in victory lane. You have a good race tonight, Steve.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thanks, bud.
Bye.
Let's see who else we might be able to chat with tonight and see. Let's see here. Caden Rush is in there. Let's see if we can get a hold of Caden Rush. We'll talk about how he's going to celebrate his championship tonight. Folks, Caden Rush is 520 points. He is literally about 54 points ahead of second place. The only possible thing that could happen to make Caden Rush not win this championship is we race 6 more races. But right now, let's see if we got Caden Rush. Caden Rush, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Caden Rush, you wrapped up the championship points last week's race. You actually didn't even have to get out of bed this morning and still end up a champion.
How do you get out of bed to go to work, though?
Well, that's true. So you can actually just go out here, make you a lap or 2, pull it into pit road, and go get yourself a hot dog and call it a night. You really don't even have to run this whole race. But what's your game plan for tonight? Is it just like normal, foot to the floor, right to the front?
Probably just to have some fun. I don't expect to be too crazy fast. It seems like a lot of people have put in a decent bit more time at Wilkesboro. We've been focusing more on Darlington in general because that's where most of everything's at. But we're just looking to have fun. If we can run decent, we can run decent. Who knows? If we're not running that great, we can pull a strategy move at the end of the race even. So I'm not expecting anything too crazy, just to have a good race at least.
Well, it's always a good show when you arrive. So I guess tonight may be one of those dodge 'em opportunities. You're just going to have to keep dodging everybody. You know, we've been watching practice. We did a couple of laps with Brian Johnson and Stephen West, and every time we were in the car with one of them, somebody's wrecking. So I expect that to be a really big possibility tonight.
Yeah, probably. It seems like it might end up being a NASCAR non-wreck avoidance challenge more than a race, but that's just how this track is. So hopefully it ends up going green a good bit. It seems like we've had that on the short tracks, Phoenix and even Darlington. Somehow we managed to have a 107 green flag run at the beginning, 107 lap green flag run at the beginning of that race. So hopefully we can just get it going green and not play rock'em sock'em race cars out here. But
well, let's hope that happens because our pace car driver, I mean, a couple races ago, he led more laps than any of the drivers did, and we almost were going to put him in the championship points here. I mean, he probably would have been a contender with you. He might have even won the championship after tonight's race. So let's hope he stays on pit road, and we have a lot of green flag racing tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Al.
Have a good night, Caden. We'll look forward to talking to you in a little bit.
See you.
Thanks, buddy. How much more time we got for any more interviews? Okay. Okay. Are we still live then? Rob, are we still? Joining me in the booth tonight is kind of a celebrity along these short tracks and a lot of larger tracks. It's Chris Severa.
Well, how you doing, Alan? I wouldn't necessarily say celebrity. I really appreciate it. Really humbled me out here.
Not bad at all, Chris. Welcome aboard, bud. We're going to have a great night tonight, and you kind of go over a little bit about what you think tonight's race is going to do, and let's go over some of our sponsors for tonight's race.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you, everybody tuning in to O'Reilly's Auto Parts 200 tonight. We got a partially cloudy track here, 73 degrees. Track temp's a little warm here, 100 degrees, so expect it to be a little slick for these drivers, especially on these opening runs with cold tires. Like a lot of the drivers were saying, keys to this track is definitely going to be rolling the center and getting good drive off the corner. The more you can do that, the better you're going to be able to take care of your equipment, and the more likely you'll be sitting yourself in a better position to make it to victory lane.
I think we're going to have a wonderful race tonight. I'm just hoping and praying that the lap car or the pace car doesn't do more laps than our racers tonight. We've got a very fast field. Even watching qualifying here, it does look like these guys are laying the rubber down at under 17.5 second laps, which is pretty fast. If you never ran this track before, myself, I barely can get out of the 18s. So these guys are rolling around this track. We're going to watch a little bit of this qualifying, and we will be back shortly with the beginning of this race.
All right, welcome back, everybody. As we grid up on the drivers here, we're going to take it away for our national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages.
Oh, say, can't you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
All right, welcome back to North Wilkesboro. As soon as we get done with this national anthem, we're going to get ready to rock and roll and go through the field. So hold tight real quick and let's get through with this. Chris, it looks like Brian Johnson got the pole, and sitting outside of him tonight is going to be the number 2 of Chris Johnson. And I do believe they are brothers. Stephen West, our second points champion at this moment, is sitting behind the leader that took the pole, Brian Johnson. And the battle tonight's going to be between Brian Johnson and Stephen West. That's going to be the one that's going to determine who finished second in the championship and who finishes third. What has to happen is Stephen West literally has to pass Brian Johnson and stay up there, or stay with him at least, not go a lap down and not wreck. I don't know how many laps he would have to turn in order to secure his second place. So I guess we'll watch the race, and as it goes by, we'll give that broadcast and let everybody know what's going to happen at this point. But we'll just stay tuned for that. Brian Johnson.
We'll see how Brian Johnson there with almost half a tenth on his brother there, Chris Johnson. Especially for the season finale, it's got to be something a little special to be able to start the front row, Johnson brothers. And like you said, Al, in order for Stephen West to secure this second spot, he is 19 points ahead of Brian Johnson. That's our battle for second and third. Stephen West is going to try and secure that purse and make sure his pockets are a little bit heavier by the end of the night.
Yeah, because we do have, obviously Caden Rush. I think Caden Rush wrapped around with the championship at $50, and I think our second place is it $35 they get for this championship?
Stephen West clunched the prize of $50 for the championship winner this year. Second place is, I believe, $35, and I believe third is $25.
Well, it's not thousands and millions like our cup drivers get, but hey, that's a pretty good amount of money for just sitting here and doing something that you enjoy, and you basically, nobody in there is overheating, so it's pretty good money to do that. Absolutely,
and this time by off of 4, our pace truck should turn down into work. Field is under Brian Johnson control. Green flag is out, and we are away for 200 laps. as we watch this inside line kind of stack up here. And that's going to be another thing, especially on these fresher tires. All these drivers are going to be looking to get everything they can. So the stack ups are something you really have to watch out for getting into the corners.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to watch. As you're watching, I'm going to watch it back into this field a moment here and kind of see how loose everybody's getting, because they want to try to stay ahead. As we start packing up, starting right back here by Mark Love in the 54, he's got the 21. They're right on his inside. They are just...
Oh, we have a caution out already.
Well, that didn't take long at all. Was that lap 2?
That looked like the 90 of Ron Holyfield around in turn 4.
Right.
See what happened to him there. Oh, and it looks again like one of those stack ups getting into the corners. And that's something very particular about this track and just short tracks in general. It looked like he was able to keep the car clean, didn't bounce it off anything, so he's going to be able to get rolling. But yeah, if you put a little bit too much brake when you have that wheel a little bit too much, that car will come right on around from you.
And you see, if you watch the replay on Ron Holyfield, he catches, there is actually a curb in the turns, okay? If you catch that with your front end, it's just like if you caught it in your street car, it's going to lift the front end of your car up and make it very unstable, and the back end is going to try to catch it, and you're going to go around, as you just seen with Ron Holyfield. We're probably going to see that quite a bit tonight, as most of these drivers are going to try to get into that turn really tight so they have an opportunity to make it out of that corner without losing control. The only problem is...
As we heard in race interviews, you got here some drivers have more laps under their belts than others, so others are looking to pull away, others are looking to find their rhythm in the early comings of this race.
Well, lucky for Ron in that 90 car, it looks like he has very minimal damage. He doesn't have any damage at all, so he will be able to race more laps under full power and be a contender up here for this race win.
That's the one thing that they have to worry about tonight is, although he didn't hit the wall, his tires did take a scrubbing going through to keep that stuff off the wall. We only have a total amount of 5 tires for all these drivers. They get the set that they start on, and they got 4 more in the pits. And as you heard from Stephen West in the pre-race interview, you can expect a good initial amount of fall off from these tires on the first 20 to 30 laps. You're hearing about almost 2 seconds of fall off. So expect these drivers, if we get going anywhere past 10, 15 laps, to come in and look to get their first sets.
Yeah, Chris, this is going to be a pretty slick track. It is 102 degrees track temperature. And it should cool off a little bit to make it a little bit more manageable. Right now, it's pretty slick out there.
I would say as well, with that humidity up there is 52%. That's practically driving out on ice right there.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot more than just that one caution here. So hopefully everybody can finish this race clean and not wreck each other. As we've seen, if they can just make the mistake that Ron made right there, where he didn't hit anybody and take anybody out with him and kept his car pretty clean, everybody still stands a chance to win this thing. It's anybody's race right now.
Absolutely. And as this time the pace truck comes around, let's see if we can get lights off. We do. So we are at 1 to go. It looks like we only had 1 taker during that pit cycle of the 43 of Paul's, and it looks like he just came down and topped that off the fuel. It's probably not a bad idea to have, trying to get as much as you can, because if you can go a few extra laps, if we do happen to get a green flag run here, if you can go a few extra laps and gain that tire advantage on some of these cars, that could help them out significantly in the long run.
Yeah, that could be a very smart move for Mr. Paul Olsen in that 43, and he probably still wants to stay in the back. And that's kind of where I would ride this race. I'd stay in the back and kind of watch and see what unfolds here.
As the pace truck turns off, Brian Johnson again checking out. First battle backs, Chris Johnson, Stephen West. Stephen West clears him down the back. We're all single file first all the way through 6th. Looks like our first battle back is David Gervais. He clears the 83. 83, that's Craig Johnson. Craig Johnson, I don't know if he's got a little bit of an issue, if he's still trying to figure out this track himself. He's losing a couple positions on this restart, getting the crossover here from Mark Love going into turn 3.
I'm going to probably say that Craig's thing is tonight, he just wants to finish this thing clean and stay away from everybody, because he does seem to be going high and not really battling for position. He doesn't mind if somebody was to pass him. And it looks like Andrew Melvin wants the inside here. And you'll see Craig was probably just going to give it to him because his tires may not come in at the beginning. They may be 10 laps in and they start to stick. So that might be his theory.
He could very well just be pacing himself for that long run, but you want to talk about a man who doesn't appear to be pacing himself. That number 4, Brian Johnson, he's pulled out a significant lead, almost a second on the field that last time by. Let's see how long that car can hold up.
Yeah, well, we have the points leader. Caden Rush has now moved himself into second.
Caden Rush, I believe he started in P4. He is up 2 positions past Chris Johnson and Stephen West. Actually a battle side by side there for second place. Stephen West looking for his way by.
And at this point, I would be very careful if I was Stephen West because he knows Caden Rush has nothing to lose here. He's already secured his points championship. So if he loses control and happens to take out Stephen West by accident, that could take Stephen out of the contention.
Absolutely. It's definitely some more to lose than others here, but it looks like Stephen West got by him just fine there, and they're all single filed out first through, let's say, all the way back to about 10th place now.
Well, it looks like Chris Johnson in that number 2 car is going to try to go on the inside here. Well, he's got some heat from the 68 of Michael Knight right behind him.
Yeah, it looks like our big battle. We have David Gervais coming up through the field. Gervais already up 7 positions, looking to make it 8.
Yeah, he's been a big mover. He started this race 13th, and he is already up to 6. Oh, Caden Rush gets loose. You got really loose. I thought he was going to take Chris Johnson in the 2 out, but that's a wonderful job, Caden, keeping that thing on the track.
Well, it's definitely why he's up there at the points championship and the points championship leader right now, just because of that capability of car control that he has right there. When you think he's got a car lost, he's still able to find a way to get that thing back straight.
Yeah, I think Caden is just respectfully letting these drivers either A, use up their material, or B, just get up there and race, because he knows he does not have to win this race. To win this race is just going to give him some bragging rights. That's all it's going to do, but he has plenty to brag about with his championship.
Absolutely. Big numbers look very good to the sponsors, Al.
Absolutely. We've got Kenny Powell in the 24 machine. He is working his way up as well. I mean, he's keeping her on the track and away from everybody else, which is a very good thing.
Now, this track here does have a very significant amount of progressive banking. That's why you're able to see these side-by-side battles of Caden Rush and Mike Knight side by side now. Mike Knight finally getting by after putting up a handful of laps. Oh, David Gervais loose in the 1. They stay green.
Yeah, and he keeps it off the wall. So, I mean, that happens right in front of a bunch of cars that are back there in the field a little bit further. And he somehow is able to manage to get it back under control and start motoring back forward. He only lost himself a good 6 positions there off that wreck.
Definitely lost a big handful of positions, but the innocent bystander of that one would be the number 2 of Chris Johnson. We'll see how much body damage we had to that car up there. But they all keep it straight, they keep it green, and we continue.
It doesn't look like Chris has been damaged that much. He's still riding up there in top 5 and 4th position in that number 2 car. So he's motoring forward. He's not going to let that hurt him at all. Let's see how Kenny Powell in that 24 machine is riding behind Caden Rush here, and it looks like behind him is the 54 of Mark Love and the 16 of Clifton Cockrell. They're all waiting for Kenny Powell to open that door up and go to the inside of Caden Rush, and once he does that, they're probably going to follow right behind him.
Absolutely.
And here we go.
That train of cars here going into 1. All the drivers looking to find their groove here. Like I said, they just don't want to start stacking up on one another, because you put a little bit too much brake in it, and that car will definitely come around on you.
Oh yeah, and if you're too close to them, you want, and it does look like Caden Rush.
Caden Rush, the 24 Kenny Powell, they take it 3 wide now, going into turn 1. Again, that's a
rough
track
there.
racing there. That's a little. I think I'm a little bit faster than you at this particular moment, and he's just going to work his way by.
And here we go. We got David Gervais in at 5. He is sneaking up in there again, and we've got the 2x2 pack up with Caden Rush on the outside And then we have the 16 of Clifton Cockrell. And behind Caden Rush is the 21 of Tyler Pluff.
That
And
15
David Gervais.
Rush is very loose getting into these corners.
Yeah, he might want to just, pull that thing down because he knows that top line's not working for him. Here we've got Jay Felton in that number 8 machine. He's sneaking his way up into this, and he's kind of patiently waiting to see. He's already seen that Caden Rush is a little loose. He wants to stay on that high line just in case he gets really loose and takes the low line out. Oh, look, David Gervais.
Look at this battle here between Caden Rush. Don't forget about our leader, who is almost about a half a lap ahead at this moment. Brian Johnson out to a 2.2 second lead last time by.
He is smoking him tonight. He is 2 seconds ahead of second place Stephen West. And all he has to do is hope and pray. There's 3 wide. Stephen West, if Stephen West goes down probably further than 11th or 12th, then Brian Johnson is going to, if he keeps on his lead, he'll probably secure himself a second place in the points championship. But it's too early in the stage to tell. I mean, we're only 30 laps in. We got David Gervais going on the high side of Caden Rush, and it looks like he's going to pinch him down and get him loose. Caden Rush needs to get out of that high line. He's going to take somebody out, it looks like. He's just really loose. You can watch how his rear just loses traction. I don't know if he's coming off the corners too much on the throttle or what's going on here, but he is extremely loose lap after lap after lap.
Well, particularly, Al, for any track that you go to, you usually want to take the lower line just because you slow the car down more, and just the way the iRacing tire model is, you'll just ultimately wear less of the tires off the car. But throughout this entire run, you've seen Caden Rush favor that top end side with that more progressive banking up there, so he definitely has his hands full tonight.
Let's go back to our leader, Brian Johnson, and see. He should be coming up on lap traffic by now. And he is. He is caught at the back of this field. Is that the 12?
19 of James Cullenbully.
It's 19. Nope, that would be the 17 of James Cullenbully. Not the 19.
Excuse me. 17 and 19.
He passes, Brian Johnson passes him and puts him, he is the first one a lap down, and it's 35 laps in. I would have thought we would have seen lap cars before this, but that's some great racing. These guys are keeping it ahead of the leader, and unfortunately, James Cullenbully.
We get contact going into turn 3. We do have a car around. That will be a caution.
As you watch the leader, Brian Johnson kind of slowed it down here.
It looked like it was the number 8 of Jay Felton was involved in that.
Yeah, I would say so, because he's falling way back here. Let's take a relook here and see what happened here.
Ooh, contact coming off the corner. I don't know if Jay came up or Caden came down. A 33 put in a very difficult position there. You had to choose between either high or low. He chose low, and unfortunately it was the wrong direction.
Well, it kind of looks like that might have been what we call net code, but the 33 just plowed the door of Jay Felton. But when looks like Jay went up, and it was barely anything between them but air.
That 90 car of Ron Hollyfield got a very good look at that one. He managed to take another trip through the grass, but again, he keeps that car clean.
Yeah, that's all you can do. Now this time we're going to see some pits. I believe we've got 35, 36 laps on this thing. We're going to see a bunch of cars on pit road.
Everybody down pit road. Looks like Stephen West just nosed out for second place coming off pit road. And we'll see this time by as they hit the line where they all sort out here.
Looks like Jay Felton had some damage there. He is still on pit road. He's running on a 30, going on a 40-second stop here. If he doesn't make it out before the leaders get around, he will become a lap down. Well, never mind. Jay Felton is already a lap down. He must have more damage than we thought. Yeah, that little hit. That little hit that he took from Cecil Keith did not feel good. as he's already been sitting there, he's probably going to go more. He's 2 laps down now. Yeah, he's going to get all his damage fixed because he can easily make it back on the lead lap. James Culabali in the 17, of course, was a lap down already. He may get the lucky dog to get back on the lead lap unless he pitted. But it does look like somehow, someway, Cecil Keith, who T-boned Jay Felton, is staying out. Did he even pit? Yeah, it does look like Cecil Keith did pit. But how in the world is he looking like he's right behind the pace car? You don't think Cecil Keith would have taken... Oh, no, he's getting a wave around, isn't he? Yeah, I do think that altercation between Jay Felton and Caden Rush was a glitch. I don't think there was contact made there. We'll take a closer look at that later on, but I do think that's what we call net code, and that was just a little bit of air pocket between the two of them that caused Jay Felton to kind of lose it. I don't think there was contact made there.
As we get the restart here, Brian Johnson again down and away. Stephen West right on his bumper this time. He's going to have a better shot of him on this run. We're all single filed again, 1st through 6th, all the way back to our first battle is between Caden Rush and 24 Kenny Powell, the 37 on his outside.
They all kind of want Caden. They've all seen how Caden is on the top line there. They're kind of being cautious and making very certain that they take careful consideration passing him on the inside.
Caden very loose on that last run. We'll see if they didn't have a chance to bring that car down pit lane, make a few adjustments to tighten them up. As
But 37 is battling.
24 looking to make his way on by.
That's Andrew Melvin in that 37. He wants that, looks like 7th position pretty bad, and he may get it coming off this turn.
Aggressive bank and giving the 24 of Kenny Powell a run down the straight, but if Andrew can stay persistent down that bottom line, I think they'll inch him out.
Yeah, we've already seen what that top line's going to do to these drivers, and if I was Kenny Powell, I would let the 37 have this position and just jump in behind him and keep the pressure on until I got an opportunity to go on the inside and return the favor. As he did, he jumped right behind him, and Caden Rush is now behind the 24 of Kenny Powell.
It's going to be very interesting if they can keep it green from here. We're on the very edge of that fuel window. It's about 164, 165 laps here. Everybody came in on lap 37 that last time by, so I believe those couple extra laps under caution may help these drivers out. They may be able to make it from this point.
We'll see. And now Jay Felton was involved in that wreck. He is 5 laps down. He had to spend 4 minutes on pit road getting his damage fixed. So his door ding there that he got from that little glitch, it might have put him out of this thing here.
It definitely was a very significant hit that he took.
Yeah, we watched Clifton Cockrell. He chose to the inside of Caden Rush, and let's see how this works out for him. There's probably a word of caution. Do not come off the corner fairly close to Caden Rush because it does look like he does have netcode on his side. Clifton Cockrell takes his turns really close there on these turns. That's going to work for him one time. If he keeps doing it, he's going to end up catching that curb down there and losing control of that car.
It looks like Caden's a little bit better entering and a little bit better off, but Clifton is definitely better. He's pulling Caden right in the center of the corner, but this time by, it looks like Caden's going to be able to pull him.
Yeah, Clifton caught that little curb right there just at the end of it, so he kind of has to regroup and decide, I better stay off this a little bit. That might have done a little bit too much damage to his car there. And then Michael Eames in the 3 machine goes in the low line there and gets around Clifton Cockrell, and now he's got Caden Rush on his windshield.
go back to the front here, take a look at our points battle. We have Stephen West still being able to stay on the bumper of Brian Johnson this time by. He's definitely a lot closer this far into the run than he was this last run.
And as they go by Cecil Keith, they put him down a lap. Yeah, maybe Steve made some adjustments to that car to get a little handling a little bit better. It does look like he's managing a whole lot better. We're getting some race chatter here that Caden Rush is having his hands full with that 15 machine. As we've watched all night, I would expect to see him on pit road here shortly, whether it's by a wrecker or he just comes in on his own. He's just not having a fun night with that setup he's put underneath that machine tonight.
I think just about any car that Caden's got, he's going to be having a pretty fun night winning this championship.
Well, absolutely. And it looks like we're seeing Jay Felton is in the picture there again. It does not look like that damage that he had to that car has taken away the performance of that 8 machine at all, because he is still working his way through the field. And right now he happens to be, a good 10 laps down. So even though he's laps down and his chances of possibly winning are pretty slim at this point, he is still coming through the field pretty fast. He may be thinking, I need to get up there and get yeah.
But if you can keep that motor clean in that thing, aerodynamics really don't come into all that much of play here at these short tracks.
And he took the high side around Caden. He went right around him. And it looks like here we go with Clifton Cockrell. He's going to try this one more time to get around that 15 machine.
Patience is definitely going to have to be a very big factor at this point in the race. You don't know if you can make it on fuel. You don't know how the guys' cars around you are handling quite yet. We've yet to go significantly far into any green flag run, so we've yet to see all the true colors of these cars.
Let's go deeper into the field here. It looks like the 5 of David Gervais, who we've seen methodically work his way up to P4, I believe, earlier, is trying to calmly do it again instead of rush up there. He knows that there are plenty of laps left here, and you can't win this race on 4 laps. So he's taking his time and going to work his way up there and picking his passes accordingly.
He's working his way past the 83 of Craig Johnson that last time by. That puts him back in the 14th, only 1 position down from his starting position. So David Gervais looking for a little bit of a reset here, looking to start things fresh.
And running out the back of this field, it's still on the lead lap, would be the 43 of Paul Olsen. And remember, he pitted earlier before, and we thought he had kind of a fuel mileage thing going on there that was going to benefit him, but then our caution came out and kind of took that out of the way for him here. So he may try that again. He may pit early and get some fuel, depending on what these laps look like. If he feels like this race is going to go green, he may try that early pit again.
I would say now the question is, Al, do you risk coming in and taking tires to split this run at the risk of going, I would say, 2 laps down, or do you try and stay out and stretch it on fuel?
That's going to be a tough call. I mean, depending on our leaders, first and second place, Brian Johnson and Stephen West, are pretty fast. I mean, if they're turning, 1 second or 1.5 seconds faster lap times than you, you may want to just go ahead and pit and take some tires and see if you can gather that up.
Oh,
they've got to pit.
Turn 1 with the number 5 David Gervais in the 36 car.
Yeah, David was in another altercation. I mean, let's take a look and see what happened with David.
Excuse me, that was the 96 of Jeffrey Smith. Contact on the outside going into turn number 1.
Yeah, it looks like David is trying to go low, and the 96 is going to try to go 3 wide. And they do take it 3 wide there for a moment, but the 96 just basically, he just comes right down and door dings David Gervais. I mean, you can't pass him if you can't pass him. So he door dinged him and sent him around, and that's all it would take. Once you're in a turn like that, you just take that little love tap, and you'll send the car to the bottom side down.
this
Yeah, it
point in
looks
the
like-
race, everybody's just about single filed out. Looks like we only have our closest battles between the 37, the 8 of Jay Felton, 37 of Andrew Melvin, and 24 of Kenny Powell and Mike Eames. They seem to be the closest cars all on the track. Everybody else, there's about a car in every single quarter of this track at this point in this race.
Yeah, it looks like we've got Clifton Cocker on the 16 and the 90 of Ron Hollyfield and the 96 of Jeffrey Smith. They're all battling back here for 11th, 12th, and 13th. But they're patient. They're going to pick and choose where they want to make these passes. They're not going to press their luck. It does look like Kenny Powell is taking that low line, and he's trying to get around that 37 machine here. And that's Andrew Melvin, but it looks like Kenny kind of backed it off a little bit here in that 24, and he's running that. Kenny Powell is running that low line as well. He can catch that curb, and it's not going to end well for him if he doesn't move it up just a little bit.
Yeah, there's definitely no room for error in turns 1 and 2. There's no curb down there. You'll go straight onto the grass and lose all grip on the inside of your car. Unlike turns 3 and 4, a little bit more forgiving with having that curve there. At least that'll give you an opportunity to bounce off back onto the asphalt. But going into turns 1 and 2, especially on turn 2 where you're looking to make your apex point at, if you flip that grass with those inside tires, it'll surely loop your car around.
Chris, I'm trying to, and it may just be me, but I'm trying to watch the 24 of Kenny Powell's line. But what was that movie, Wreck-It Ralph? Keep blinking in and glitching. Is Kenny Powell doing that? Is he blinking on your screen?
I do see that on my screen. He looks like he has a little bit of connection issues. He's a little spotty, but he looks a little bit to be smoothing out right now for me.
I thought I was blinking out on me there, and I didn't want to. I know that's probably got to be hectic on Michael Eames back there, not knowing where he's going to appear. So Michael Eames in that 3 car behind Kenny Powell is patiently watching this go on, and it does look like Kenny is just blinking, and that cannot be fun for the 3
Further
car.
up in the pack, we have the 74 Stephen West being pressured now by the 68 of Mike Knight as your battle for second position. And we can see now if Brian Johnson's doing all he can do to try and make gains on Stephen West, but if Stephen West doesn't go any further back, he has a lot of cushion behind him. He can fall back all the way to about 16th, 17th position and still secure that number 2 spot in the championship. Oh, as he runs up on lap traffic, he gets all checked up off of 2.
Boy, that's not good. And we got Chris Johnson in that 2 car sneaking up on Michael Knight there in that 68. This could be a battle for 3 cars for second position.
Yeah, that checkup coming off 2 now forms a very long train behind Stephen West. He's going to have to get things smooth. Still has that 68 of Mike Knight right behind him now.
And Brian Johnson couldn't love this more, seeing this in his rearview mirror as he gains almost a 3-second gap between him and second place.
I don't know who built that motor tonight, but I sure as hell want one.
Yes.
As we
Well,
see
he
the
does.
number 2, Chris Johnson, try to put the move on the 68, but that's going to cost him as he to check up off the corner. As we have Mark Love looking to the inside.
We're watching a lot of checking up.
Off the corner there.
The 68's going to go low on Stephen West, and if Chris Johnson can get right on the bumper of that 68, he can ride that train right through there as well.
Definitely about at this point in the run where your tires are falling off. We are about running the leader, Brian Johnson, last time by running 19.7. That's already over 2 seconds of fall off from when we started on this run. So at this point now, these drivers really have to pick their battles. When do they make the move? Because any mistake in their move, if they don't get it complete, will open them up to the driver right behind. As we see the 68 not giving Stephen West any room on the outside as they're fighting off turn 4. Stephen now with that progressive banking to his advantage will drive it away down the straight. Now this is where we'll open up the door to Chris Johnson here. It looks like Mike Knight manages to shut that door as they all stack back up off 4.
Let's not forget we have got that 54 back there. Mark Love and Tyler Pluff in that 21 are kind of just patiently waiting for that battle up there for second place to unfold and maybe capitalize on somebody's mistake.
Tyler Pluff, that last time by, he ran himself in 19.7, so he is currently on pace of what the leaders are running. Actually ran a 10th faster that last time by than our leader. So he is definitely just conserving his stuff and waiting for his the right opportunity to strike here.
Oh, this battle with the 21 and the 54 is not going to end well. Oh, they backed it off a little bit, got back in line.
And that's exactly what I was talking about there. You saw the 54 try and put his nose to the inside of the 2 of Chris Johnson. Didn't quite get it off the corner. It made the track much more narrower than the car behind, so he didn't have all the room to drive off the corner as you see him get loose there off the corner. And again, opening himself up to the car behind. So we now see Chris Johnson a little further up. That next battle right in front, he's looking to make his way around Mike Knight there, the 68. He's going to try and use that progressive banking on the outside to his advantage, but Mike Knight with the shorter way around. Oh, with the bobble off the 4. Is he going to let Chris Johnson stay out there? As he get loose on the inside, he chases it up the track. Chris will clear him into 3. Leaders now starting to work their way through lap traffic as the second place of Stephen West makes his way up to these 3 cars. Brian Johnson has already cleared them, and he has clean track in front and is now pulled out to a 4-second is the gap.
Yeah, he checked out, boy. And the 40, here comes Paul Olsen. He's a lap down car at 43, and then he's going to, give them leeway and let them get by. He doesn't want to race them.
Oh, is the 21 very loose in front of Paul Olsen? He'll take a trip through the grass. Tyler Pluff manages to keep it straight. Will stay green. Just looked like he lost it just before the center of the corner. He wasn't able to gather it back up. Elects to take the trip through the grass rather than overcorrect in front of the field.
And that was probably a pretty wise move as we watch Chris Johnson in second place or third place. He wants second place with Stephen West. He's going to go in deep, and they're side by side. Can Chris get this? If he gets this, it'll be a Johnson and Johnson first and second. And he goes, looks like he almost got a little sideways here.
Really Stephen West's hand there. He kind of pushed him up off the corner of 4 there. And now Stephen, he's getting bumped by the 68. 68 will turn him. Oh, yes. No.
74 is in the grass, and that's going to put him down. He's going to go to the back of this field with that, and that brought out our caution right there.
Oh, no. That's Stephen West, our sitting P2 in the championship.
Let's see, Chris, you think we can maybe holler out at our leader? See if we can make contact with Brian before we go back green here, and he goes on pit road.
Let's see if we can't get in touch with Brian Johnson here.
All right. Brian Johnson, you got your ears on?
10-4. Brian, it looks like you got a pretty commanding car out there. You're able to pull out to almost 4 seconds that last run. How's it feeling out there?
She's pretty good on the long run. Chopping wood, that's for sure.
Do you plan on making any adjustments? Because we did notice that the 74 Stephen West was able to keep it a lot closer that last run by rather than compared to that first run.
Yeah, it looks like Steven had a pretty good hot rod. So no adjustments. Car felt really good, really fast and short run. Medium run, I've been taking it easy, just saving tires. That way I have something for the long run. I think this thing's going to end on a long run, so we'll see.
Well, it looks like good news for you. Stephen West has some front end damage. That's not your biggest problem. You have your brother, Chris Johnson. He's going to start on your outside. Have you got anything for him, or has he got anything for you?
I don't know. We'll see. We got very similar cars.
Well, you got the same last name, and that's easy enough to remember. Well, good luck on this restart, and it's been a terrific race so far. We look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
As we see the 74, Stephen West again electing to come back down pit road this second time by.
And while we're on caution, Chris, I am going to go get something more to drink. So the broadcast is all yours. I'll be right back.
All right, as you see these guys under caution here, we're having a little bit of difficulties with these cars towards the back of the pack under these cautions, trying to manage whether they come in or not. With this car being as short as it is, it's just over 0.6 of a mile. So these guys who are towards this back of the pack are almost a half a lap down. So they only have 0.3 of a mile to get down pit road, get their adjustments, and make it back out before that pace truck comes back around to put them a lap down. So a lot of guys having some difficulties with that. It looks like we're going to have 2 lap cars up front electing to take the wave around. Looks like it'll be the 43 of Paul Olson, the 16 of Clifton Cockrell. Everybody else behind him is on the lead lap. Stephen West is just coming by some lap cars right now. It looks like he's going to start behind the 24 of Kenny Powell. It looks like that will be position number 12. So good news, bad news for Stephen West. Everybody who's a lap down is from 14th position and back. So as long as Stephen West can keep his car on the lead lap, it looks like he will be able to secure second place in the championship as they double file up with 1 to go, preparing for this restart. And again, the pace truck will turn down off field this time by, and we're going to start this restart just how we started the race. Johnson and Johnson Brothers are right up front, and we have the 64. Excuse me, it's a 68. It's a 54. Mark Love is on the inside of Chris Johnson there, battling for second into turn 3. 15 of Caden Rush looking like he made a couple of adjustments, looking to come through the field here.
Looks like our second place in Stephen West is trying to move himself back up. He started that race back in 12th, and he's already moved himself up to 10th. And he is on a roll. We go 3 wide. Kenny Powell is on the bottom line there. And David Gervais is going to try to get up there. And David Gervais, I do believe, is a couple laps down at this point.
David Gervais, I do show him 1 lap down right now. He's actually fighting for the lucky dog. The next car back is the 24 of Kenny Powell. It'd be the only car on track that he's fighting. But we'll see. I was just saying as he took a step away, the 74, as long as Stephen West can keep that car on the lead lap, he can only fall back as far as 12th place, and that will be good enough to secure him in second place in the championship.
He just needs to stay away from some of these other guys and make sure he's not the victim here, or make sure he doesn't pressure himself too much. I wonder if he knows where he needs to finish this race in order to secure it. And it looks like David Gervais turns the 37, Andrew Melvin.
It looks like, no, David Gervais was definitely on the inside of the 37 going into the corner. It just looks like the 37 came down right into him.
Let's see here. Let's watch the replay here. David Gervais, he goes low. Oh, it does. Look, 37 just doesn't. His spotter didn't tell him that David was there, and he went right down into him.
Definitely is a lot of give and take at these tracks. You got to choose these battles, and sometimes on these restarts are where you got to take it. Well, it was a pretty short run there, so I don't know if we'll see any cars that like to come down pit road. It looks like the 4 other leaders will stay out right here.
It does look like Paul Olsen in at 43. It was standing in the back for so long. He just comes up and just T-bones the 37 on that accident there. And it almost looked like the 17 was involved in that as well.
It did look like the 17 and the 43 were in very similar positions. Not exactly sure where that car was that was turned coming around that corner. And normally you would think at a track like this, if a car is spinning, then they would have slid to the inside. It's just so hard to see around that corner. You kind of have to take a guess before you even get there. Very interesting. Now, it looks like because the 5 of David Gervais technically was in that incident with the 37, it doesn't look like he will get the wave around this time by. It looks like the 37 of Andrew Melvin actually got that wave around. Oh, excuse me. No, Andrew Melvin is actually at the end of the lead lap. He got trapped behind the pace car, wasn't able to get it rolling in time, so he is... Unfortunately, at the end of the lead lap, he can't pit in or else he will have to go a lap down. So we'll elect to take the wave around right here. Further back in our field, it looks like we have Clifton Cockrell and David Gervais are still a lap down, so they'll be battling for that lucky dog. Again, Johnson brothers up front. We'll see if they don't coordinate or have something up here to get a good restart here. Stephen West still working his way up through the field. It looks like he is up to 8th position now as a pace car drops and the 4 is away.
This is really tight. These guys are really tight here, Chris. It looks like Brian got a tremendous gap between him and second place, and they're fighting for second place. It's a battle between Mark Love and Chris Johnson. It looks like Mark Love and Chris Johnson and
big God, Stephen West working his way through it.
Oh, the 21 gets pegged in that. Oh, this is a mess.
Parking lot. You're definitely working our way now into the second half of this race. So drivers are going to be looking to take a little bit more than they're willing to give. You take a ride along with that 74 Stephen West, he manages to work his way through that entire thing. Well, it just looked like somebody got hooked on into the outside right there. That's a fantastic job of Stephen West getting through that and negotiating that wreck. Looking back to see what had caused that.
That was going to be between
Ooh.
the 2 of Chris Johnson, and I do believe, is it the 68 of Michael Knight were involved in that?
It was the 54 Mark Love and the 2 of Chris Johnson. They're going down the backstretch right here, and well, Al, I'm not the skinniest guy in the world, but I would have been able to fit through that gap that caused that wreck. Unfortunately, that is a big net code on the iRacing server's part there, and that wrecked a lot of good cars.
We had that earlier, and we may have that. We've had that last week too, and I made some calls that were inaccurate where I thought somebody took somebody else out, and after further review, it looked like netcode took those guys out, and that's exactly what we're seeing tonight. We really need to somehow figure out, or we don't need to, iRacing needs to figure out how in the world, because there was, well, hold on, let's take a different view of this, because it does look like the 54 kind of rides up into the 2 of Chris Johnson. Let's try to look from Caden Rush's dash view and see. Let's take an in-car with Caden Rush and then watch this whole wreck unfold. And that probably will tell us here. Caden Rush has got a great view.
Yeah, I would say if you had to put it in the perspective of the width of a tire, you could have fit within 2 tires in between those cars before. I don't think any contact would have even been made there.
I can't really see in Caden's. I'm going to go inside of Michael Knight's car here and kind of see if I can see if he views what I seen there.
Well, as the field double files back up and we are 1 to go here, the pace truck will be turning off. Again, the field back in the hands of Brian Johnson. Stephen West, again, worked his way all the way back up to P3 now, just even more securing his second place.
Yeah, and you are right, Chris. When I look at that, that was all net code. That was nothing done by either racer there. That was all net code. Nothing they could do to avoid that.
I'm going to take the field. We are just over halfway, coming to lap 20 this time by, so these drivers are definitely going to be looking towards the home stretch and getting everything they can get. We're singled out first through third. Our first battle back isn't all the way until the battle for Chris Johnson. Excuse me, that is Mark Love. And is that Jeffrey Smith on his outside? Excuse me, no, that is Mark Love and Mike Eames side by side going into turn 3. And then we got Kenny Powell, David Gervais, and I believe that's Andrew Melvin in the 37. A little further back. As the field spreads out now, about 5 laps into this run, everybody's looking to single file out. Only 1 or 2 cars side by side still battling. I believe that was Mark Love that just decided to hit pit road there. It was pit before Mark Love.
Yeah, he probably had some damage he had to fix.
David Gervais, a little bit of a wiggle coming out of turn 4 there. He keeps on it. AJ Felton sideways. Gervais had nowhere to. Jay Felton again just getting sideways, getting into the corner. Had to chase it down the track. It looked like he had to check up slightly for the 24 Kenny Powell. And he just overcorrects into the outside wall.
And I don't have a clue why Jay Felton is trying to race his way up into this thing. He is 10 laps down. I mean, there would have to be significant issues with the rest of this race in order for him to get back on the lead lap. We would at least need 12 more cautions in order for him to get a lucky dog.
As he said, it looks like we have split decisions coming down pit road here. Brian Johnson, Mike Knight electing to stay out. Stephen West, Caden Rush coming in to pit road that last time by.
Well, we got how many? We've got probably enough time to run a commercial, don't we, Chris?
I believe so, Al.
Well, let's go to a commercial and we'll be back shortly. And welcome back to North Wilkesboro, where we're watching, I guess we're watching the 5th or 6th caution, Chris.
I believe I have this as caution number 4, I do believe, besides a couple of single car spins that we had earlier in this race. It looks like the field is still pacing here. So we got a couple more laps before we go green. Interesting decision by the front two here. They did not come in, so we have Brian Johnson and Mike Knight. Last time they pitted in was on lap 97, and then we have Andrew Melvin who pitted in on lap 114, and then Kenny Powell on lap 102. So we got a whole mix of cars, whether or not who took tires, so this is definitely going to be a free-for-all in this restart here. Brian Johnson is away. He's going to give himself a good cushion here. Now we'll be able to see who took tires and who did not. Definitely looks like Steven West may have a bit more pace in the corners here now. He's checking out for the cars that have no tires in front.
Steven West is rolling around on 4-lap tires right now, where we got the leader rolling around on 33 lap. First and second are on 33-lap tires. Kenny Powell in that 24 machine is on 28-lap tires. Everybody else is on fresher tires. Andrew Melvin.
3 wide now into turn 1. Clifton Cockrell, Caden Rush, and Steven West. I'm not quite sure if anybody took tires there. It looks like everybody's still doing a bunch of 18-second lap times. Not seeing anybody running too quickly out there. Maybe they're just topping off the fuel, making adjustments, getting those cars fixed. But we got Caden Rush definitely working his way through the field here.
We're looking at the lap times. We're looking at
Caden Rush sideways. Steven Westland's inside. He manages to hold on to it.
going back and reviewing their pit stops here. It does look like we have at least 2 tire pit stops going on, because we're running 13, 14 second pit stops. So they may have took off 4.
As we see now our first lead change of the night, I do not believe. That's Steven West taking it away from the 4 of Brian Johnson. And Caden Rush will follow suit behind him.
Yeah, that 74 and the 15, now first and second, are on 28 lap pressure tires.
We'll just see now if this field can't keep it clean, because all it'll take for them to go about 10 or 15 laps, and those 2 that elected to stay out and not take any tires will have that extra set sitting for them.
Yeah, and that's where we're going to see that possible Brian Johnson and Mike Knight benefit from that, because if they can finish this out, if we go green now, everybody's going to stop for some tires. If we see Brian Johnson and Mike Knight, they've still got 2 sets left to them, I believe.
As we have some contact a little further back between the 16 and I believe that's the 54 again. No, it's 54 of Mark Love and the 16. A little bit of contact a little further in the back. Battle for somebody's trying to get by in 5th position there. Clifton Cockrell's in 6th, and he got Mike Eames. Oh, that is a battle for position. Mike Eames works his way around Clifton Cockrell there. Was looking to make his way further through the pack. As you can see, the difference in tires now. Steven West, Caden Rush, and who else is that we have running P3? Jeffrey Smith. They are now pulling away. This is just the difference in the tires alone here.
Yeah, we watched 74 of Stephen West. He put the old switcheroo on Brian Johnson. Now he is the leader at almost 2 seconds in front of second place Caden Rush. Third place behind Caden Rush is just 0.2 of a second. Then we have, of course, fourth place, number 4, Brian Johnson. Fifth is Michael Eames in the 3 machine. I'm watching this David Gervais as he spins off of the turn here. He cannot keep this car off of other cars to save his life. I mean, he tries to go into these turns and he tries to use the cars on the outside to get around them. I don't know if it's net code or if it's just him. We're going to call it net code for right now until we have further review, but I've watched David Gervais go to the inside of several drivers and kind of get into their door like he can't keep it down. That 5 machine is struggling with his handling tonight.
David Gervais definitely having a little bit of an unfortunate race. Found himself involved in a couple of incidents tonight that can definitely be hindering the control of his car that he has there. As you see a little bit further up in the field, we have our battle for P2 between Caden Rush and Jeffrey Smith. It seems like Caden Rush is starting to flatten out here a little bit as Jeffrey Smith is all on his bumper.
As we're going to watch the leader in the 74, he's going to try to get around David Gervais in that 5 to put David Gervais 1 more lap down. That'll put him 2 laps down. But he's got to pick and choose because he's already seen David Gervais gets a little loose when he goes low. So he's cautiously trying to find the right time to get around him.
It's definitely can be a worrisome position right here for Stephen West with David Gervais in front of him here. He's 2 laps down. He's not the lucky dog, but he doesn't want to lose any more laps. That can definitely put him in a worse position. If he goes another lap down, it can end the race potentially.
And let's point out that there's a good chunk out of the front end of Stephen West. It looks like his hood and his front fairing there. It's not hindering his ability to get out there and stay out there. So it's not giving any kind of a drafting disadvantage at all to him as he safely gets around Stephen West Stephen West safely gets around David Gervais in that 5 machine and puts him now 2 laps down.
And cleared him coming off turn 4 there. We come to 50 to go. These drivers will be looking to get everything they can now. It's either, don't want to say it's over yet because a caution could always change everything for those drivers that took that extra set, for those drivers who have another one. I actually have Chris Johnson down on pit road. Don't know what happened to him, but he is down. Looks like he's getting repairs. He may be done.
Yeah, Chris is about 18 laps. He was involved in that wreck earlier. That's one of the Johnsons.
Oh, yeah. Involved in that big one. As we have another
Craig was involved in one.
Off of turn 2. Tyler Pluff must have came around. He's in P10.
Yeah, he's really slowed down. He must have took himself around the world here. Now we just have 9 cars on the lead lap. So your 9th position is going to be Andrew Melvin. And as again, David Gervais is having a little difficulty keeping that vehicle under control. The 21 machine got it to the inside of him and was able to safely get around him. And this looks like the handling on that 5 machine of David Gervais is just off tonight.
Yeah, from the outside looking in, it just doesn't look like he has much of that right rear tire left. He just looks loose everywhere on the track.
Yeah, I don't think it's flat, but it does give the presentation like he has got no grip coming off the turn.
Well, speaking of loose, the 15, 2 cars behind him, has a little bit of a bottle. I think the 3 of Mike Eames will open the door for him as he'll look to take advantage.
Well, yeah, you remember.
Squeeze him down. He's trying to get everything up, holding side by side, but it looks like the 3 has it in the corner. Caden Rush will drive it in a little loose. He had to chase it up the track, but he's loose in the middle of the corner, and Mike Eames will take the position.
Yeah, we're looking at Brian Johnson, who is steadily staying up there in the 5th position. He is on 60 lap tires right now. And everybody in front of him are on 31, 32, 33 lap tires. So he's got twice as many laps on his tires right now. But for him to be able to still manage to stay up in the top 10 is a pretty good feat. And all he's hoping for right now is another caution, because we've got about 43 laps left of this event tonight. And he is hoping that their caution doesn't come out till maybe about another 10 or 15 laps.
And again, David Capace underneath of a car just gets a little loose, still manages to keep it straight. He's definitely has his hands full tonight.
Yeah, I'm watching the 4. He is trying to get around the 15 of Caden Rush, and Brian is definitely having an issue getting around him, because he knows, just as you watch, Caden Rush is just loose. He does not want to get involved in that. So looks like either Caden checked up and let him by, but yeah, Caden has got no rear end. So, I mean, his back bumper is missing. So that might have a lot to play with why his car is getting really squirrely now more than it was. Just the same condition we see with the David Gervais.
Last time by for Brian Johnson, he ran a 19.8 compared to Stephen West's 19.7. So the tires are definitely starting to even out here now, but now it's just a matter of the track position. Brian Johnson has a lot more cars to pass if he wants to have anything at the end here. But with less than 40 laps to go, unless we have a caution or something else changes this race, I don't see anything else happening for Brian Johnson here.
Oh, we're going to see another caution. Now, is he going to be able to secure a second place? You know, it's in the championship points, as it sits right now, the answer would be no. He would finish this at third if we were to end this race right where we sit right now. But I do think I see the tire strategy here for Brian Johnson.
In the 68 and the 15 of Caden Rush. Back for a position there.
Brian's got a lot of drivers.
And that will bring out the yellow.
Yes. Now that played well into Brian Johnson and Michael Knight's pattern right there, as well as Kenny Powell. They're all sitting on 60-plus tires. I mean, they got 67 laps, you know, so they're all going to pit.
Stephen West will come around there to put those 3 cars a lap down there that were checked up for that wreck.
And that's still going to leave us, I believe, with 9 cars on the lead lap. And then one's going to get away from them.
The 90 and the 43.
And here comes Brian Johnson, pit road, the 4. First one to get on pit road here. And let's see how this works out for Brian Johnson. All he has to do is come out. Oh, the 2 car looks like he just blew up on pit road.
There's a 2 of Chris Johnson.
Yeah, he just looks like his motor just expired on pit road. As we come out, it looks like we might have Brian Johnson's coming out. He made it out of pit road, maybe 3rd or 4th, maybe. But again, I don't think. I'd hate to say, but maybe Stephen West, they had another set of tires. And if they did have another set of tires, and now everybody's on the same tires, it's going to be an interesting race. You know, if everybody's on the same set of tires here. But it looks like the 21 of Tyler Pluff and the 15 of Caden Rush are on still 40-lap tires. It's the same as Cecil Keith in the 33.
I do see that as well. They last came in on lap 125. And especially with Caden Rush, I don't know if he has any more tires left. He may have accidentally used a set earlier because he was the one who just went around on that last spin. So he absolutely has flat spots on those tires.
If he's up there with the leaders on 42-lap tires, it's going to be very interesting. But I think he got the wave around, so he's probably going to be back there in right around P9, maybe P10.
It's going to be very interesting now because we does appear that yes. So Steven, what happened? Let's see if we can't sort this out. Caden Rush did get way past the pace car there because he got trapped a lap down, so he was given his lap back. But due to that, it does appear he's going to have to drop to the end of the longest line here. So it doesn't look like his tires up in the front of the pack are going to be a big factor.
So this is either going to be Stephen West needs to get one heck of a jump in front of Mike Eames, but I don't think Brian Johnson is going to get behind Mike Eames. He's going to stay behind Caden Rush. And there, Caden, or no, not Caden Rush.
David
Stephen West.
Gervais immediately back around.
David Gervais might need to retire that vehicle tonight. I mean, we can't even make a lap and we're already wrecking again here. Yeah, David Gervais definitely has an ill handling car tonight. He has hit everything except the lotto.
It looked like they were trying to get themselves organized around the 15 of Caden Rush, and just coming out of 4, he just a spin there. That change of elevation can absolutely catch you out.
And the track got a little warmer. It is at 106 degrees. So it's getting a little bit slicker. Let's go back up there. We've got Stephen West, our 74 is our leader. And again, he is second in the championship points tonight. And as we finish right now, he will secure his second position behind Caden Rush in the championship points for the season. It's been a phenomenal race, and we've had plenty of conversation with Stephen West in the 74 with second place and third place positions or finishes. He's done that quite a bit tonight, or quite a bit this season. Maybe tonight will be a winning victory lane conversation with Mr. Stephen West in that 74 machine. That is going to be Michael Eames and Brian Johnson's worst nightmare right now. They're trying to get around him to take the win away from him. But I think Stephen West is, even with the car damage he has in that 74 machine, he still has a very fast hot rod underneath him. So that little bit of damage he's got is not hindering his performance at all.
It's definitely going to be an interesting restart here. You got the two most dominant cars in the field are going to be starting nose to tail in the inside lane here. So we'll see who decides to be aggressive. If Brian decides to be aggressive earlier, maybe try to force Stephen to use up his equipment early. We'll see how he chooses to play it here. If Stephen can just take care of his equipment and hold that low line, it'll definitely be a battle for Brian to get by.
I definitely was just going to say that, Chris. If I was Stephen West in that 74 machine, I would not give Brian Johnson that low line, because if he gives it to him, it is over. As we've already seen the Ford machine of Brian Johnson check out, many times in this race, and I think he's still got enough underneath him to do the same thing all over again. And he's got plenty of laps to do it. He's got 26 laps left in him. I mean, that's plenty of time to get up there and take the lead. But he's got to get around Michael Eames and the 96 of Jeffrey Smith in order to do that. And Michael Knight's behind him too. We can't count the 68 machine out. There are plenty of top drivers in his top 5 that could win this race right now.
If the lights off on the pace truck, you notice that the leader is starting to lag off a little bit, so expect him to maybe try and take a little bit of an earlier jump, maybe try and catch these guys out here real quick as the pace truck turns off. Stevens
As he does it,
moves away. Brian Johnson looked to get him out of the number 3. Does not have it. The 3 will close the door on him. Brian drifts up the track a little bit there. He's going to have to make quick work of that number 3 if he wants to have any shot at this win.
Yeah, the 96 Jeffrey Smith is looking at the outside of Brian Johnson in that Ford machine, and he kind of falls back in line.
Well.
He wants the low line. He knows Brian needs to stay. Oh, we got another caution coming up, Chris. This is getting to be. We might finish this thing tonight. What brought out that caution?
That looked to be the 83 of Craig Johnson. As Caden Rush turned down into the corner, it just looked like Craig did not make the corner and drifted up into the track. Clicks the 33 on his outside there, Cecil Keefe.
Yeah, it does look like he just kind of fell asleep at the wheel and decided he didn't want to turn. And David Gervais, he gets a little piece of that as well. And that 17 car, he just brings it to a complete halt up there. James Cullibali once again just stops his machine flat so he doesn't hit anybody.
Tyler Pluff got caught up in that as well. Looks like David Gervais got another little piece. Ron Hollyfield as well. A couple more cars tagged up into that. Definitely these cars in the back of the field are definitely trying to get all they can now. Any positions that they can get will, give them any more points. But at this point, don't really know what it's worth as we come less than 30 laps now in the season finale here.
Right, and if you look at that 33 machine of Cecil Keith, he has got every single fender, front to rear, he's pushed in. Everything is dented in that car. I mean, if the dent doctor, he was going to see the dent doctor right now, they would tell him go ahead and get a new car because he is just full of dents. But he is sitting in P9. So you don't have to have a fast car here in order to get yourself in the top 10. You just have to survive. Paul Olsen was in a couple altercations in that 43 machine. He sits in P10.
We see a couple of cars come off pit road. David Gervais, and I believe that was the 10 in front of him that came out. Some cars just coming out pit road trying to get some final repairs as much as they can. Get as much as they can from their cars here.
So let's run down the top. We've got Stephen West is in P1. Michael Eames in the 3 car is in P2. Brian Johnson in the 4, P3. Jeffrey Smith in the 96 is P4. Michael Knight in the 68, P5. Clifton Cockrell in the 16, P6. Kenny Powell in the 24, P7. Andrew Melvin in the 37, P8. Cecil Keith in the 33, P9. Run off the top 10 will be the 43 of Paul Olsen. And we only have 11 cars on the lead lap, and the 15 of Caden Rush is still on the lead lap in P11.
Our biggest mover of the race will be that 96 of Jeffrey Smith. He's up 15 positions from starting 19th, and right behind him is the number 3 of Mike Eames, who's up 13 positions from where he started this race. So let's see if we can't do this one last time. We get this pace truck to turn off as field is in Steven's hands, and he is away. Brian Johnson with a better start on that inside. He looks like he has the inside of Mike Knight now. Mike Eames.
Yeah, he just has to hold him down there, and Mike and Brian Johnson. Oh, but Mike's getting a great run out the outside, and it looks like he's going to go to the outside.
Way up the track
a little bit too hot there. Coming in hot.
Oh, look to cross over here, but no, Ryan will shut the door on him, and now we'll see if he can't catch up back up to Stephen West here.
Yeah, it looks like Brian Johnson is watching Stephen West and watching for him to just make one small move that he can capitalize on. He's not pushing his machine too hard right now, but he is giving enough pressure on the 74 Stephen West to let him know he is there. They're just 0.2 of a second off each other. Oh, Brian Johnson got a great gap closure on that one right there. He's coming on the outside. No, he looks like he's going to go to the inside and give him a little bump. Hey, I'm here, Stephen.
Definitely looking like he's taking the entries into the corners a little bit wider to cut that thing back just a little bit later.
Stephen got loose.
Right there.
Yeah, Stephen got loose a little bit there, and Brian gives it back to him and says, okay, let's try this all over again. I don't want to take this from you like that. We've got 2 champions here.
Back to 3 and the 24. 24 is around. I don't know if that'll bring out a caution. We will stay green.
Yeah, Brian Johnson needs to get around Stephen West. It's not going to get him second place, but at least to finish this. And he gives him a bump. And Stephen West says, I don't think so. I'm going to recover from this. Brian Johnson gives him a little bump, says, I'm here. As he looks like he wants to give him another one, but he thinks twice. That was a tremendous move by Stephen West in that 74 machine to keep that machine from going around. Brian Johnson says, maybe I'll try the high line. And Stephen West says, nope, you're going to try the low line.
Oh, he drives deep and he pulls up the track. Stephen West is going to cross him over here.
What a race for the lead here. We have got 2 of these guys who've been dominating factors in tonight's event. And it does look like,
it's contact. Will get it.
But
Stephen's going to really drive it in.
He's going to hit him.
Do it to me. I'm going to do it to you.
Looks like these guys are just beating on each other here. Boy, that was amazing. And it looks like Brian Johnson prevailed from that, and he is going to check out. He might have put enough on Stephen West to make him think, you know, I'll let you have the win because I'm going to get second place in the championship. If I wreck myself out, then there's going to be a problem. So that was a wise decision. Stephen West in that 74 machine to regroup and see about coming back up there. But he needs to worry about Michael Knight because Michael Knight's right behind him as well. And Michael Knight would like to have that third position. And he's seen the battle in
these closing laps of these short track races. Just about anything will go there. And Stephen West wasn't afraid to show Brian Johnson. He's like, hey, you're going to stick it in there late for me. I'm going to do it right back to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We've got 10 laps to go. We actually got 9 laps to go. We are in 9-lap window here, this thing being over. So anything could happen. If there's one more caution, we're going to have the restart, probably the best restart of the whole season coming out of this race tonight, because we've already seen these guys, they can beat on each other and keep their cars going straight. These two leaders, Brian Johnson and Stephen West, both of them have put on a tremendous show tonight as Michael Knight says, you know what, Stephen?
Oh, he's loose there.
I'm going to get loose. Yeah, I thought he was going to go down, but he got loose. You cannot put this thing in there hot. You put it in there hot, you're going to come out cold. That's most definitely a problem for you.
We have 6 to go next time by. I believe I just heard somebody blow up on the track.
Looks like
Does not appear anybody's on the track right now.
yeah, that was somebody. It looks like just seen. I'm watching the Brian Johnson here as he comes around. He's only 0.6 in front of Stephen West, and he just has to keep this for 5 more laps. He has to do 5 more laps around here, and he's going to end up
have
winning
that
this thing.
caution.
Now the racing begins. Yeah, it looks like Jeffrey Smith caused that one. Yeah, it looks like Jeffrey Smith might have caused Caden Rush.
It looks like coming off turn 4, Caden Rush anticipates that 96. Looks like the 96 got a little loose coming off of turn 4 and didn't quite go all the way out to the wall. Caden Rush kind of anticipating him getting a much better track out than that, and unfortunately puts him right into the inside wall.
Now that's going to work out fairly well for Stephen West right now. And that's not what Stephen West wanted to see. Right now we have 9 cars on the lead lap, and that's going to be Michael Eames in the 3 machine is rounding out the top 9 here. We're going to see Kenny Powell. He's going to move on up into the 7th position. He's been secretly, quietly staying there. Maybe we're going to see a move. I don't think this thing is over by any means, and I really don't want to say this race is all Brian Johnson and Stephen West show, because I think some of these drivers in the top 6 at least are going to try to push their way up there to the front in case Brian Johnson and Stephen West get another battle like they were just in and they take each other out.
I'm not too sure if that 33 of Cecil Keith didn't have an extra set of tires, but he did come down pit road. He's the second to last car on the lead lap, so he's just about nothing to lose. So if those last cars on this lead lap have an extra set of tires, look for them to be coming through on this green-white checker.
It does look like the 43 machine was our lucky dog, Mr. Paul Olson. As it sits right now, he is 10th, which is a great start for him. He started 17th, and he's going to come out 10th. Cecil Keith started 18th, and he's going to come out 9 if the race was to end right now. But the biggest mover, again, is Jeffrey Smith in that 96 machine. But we're watching Paul Olson. He is coming down pit road. I wonder if he has a set of tires left over, and he thinks he might need them. Or if he's got damage that he needs to get repaired. Better make it around here fast and get off pit road pretty quick, because the leaders are coming and they're getting ready. So now the tables have turned. Chris, we've got Brian Johnson in that 4 machine is on the pole. And his outside is going to be the 74 of Stephen West.
Well, no matter what happens now, this will be the final restart of our season here.
Yep, this is going to be a green, white, checkered. This calls it right here. If they get around, who's ever in the lead when the next caution flag comes out is the winner of this race. So Brian Johnson has to get enough of a jump on Stephen West. He has to pay Stephen back for his restarts, how he was jumping. And I think Brian Johnson's going to do this. And he's hoping and praying that we have another car back there in the field somewhere that's going to spin out and bring out the caution, because then it's sealed. Brian Johnson won.
You want to talk about that payback? Brian Johnson did stick his nose in there to Stephen West, and Stephen West he saw return the favor, so don't think that Stephen West will not be looking to do a little bump and run to Brian if he can.
There's a lot of respect.
He'll be there.
Yeah, we interviewed both of them at the top of the race here, and then both of them said the same thing. This is going to be a hard race, and I don't think it's going to be any dirty racing between these two drivers, because that's just unprofessional, and that's just not these two drivers. So we're going to see some maybe a little bit of a hey I'm here bump, but nothing to take them out, you know. So don't expect to see either one of them do that. And we've got the 96 and a 68 behind them. And there we go. Brian gets a heck of a jump, and it looks like Stephen West is going to try the inside. But if Brian can just hold that inside line and not let Stephen West get to it, Brian is going to bring it home. He just needs to go around this track for another. Here's the green, and here's the white flag. Oh, no, that was the end. Brian Johnson. Yeah, Brian Johnson wins tonight's race with Stephen West coming in second, which means Stephen West is going to secure his second position in the points championship. And Brian Johnson, the winner, is going to finish third in the championship points with Caden Rush in that 15 car, who didn't finish so well tonight. He finished 14th, but he did win the championship. But, you know, we had the biggest mover of this race is going to be that 96 machine. It looks like a Jeffrey Smith. He started 19th and finished third. Great run for the 96. And we're going to talk with the 96. We're going to talk to second, third place before we get an opportunity to talk to tonight's race winner, who is Brian Johnson in that 4 machine. So momentarily, hold tight. We're going to see if we can't get the 96 of Jeffrey Smith or the 74 of Stephen West in here to see if we can have a conversation with her quick. And coming to the conclusion of tonight's race, we have the race winner who's out there just burning down the track, Brian Johnson in that 4 machine. Coming in second is 74 of Stephen West. Third would be the 96 of Jeffrey Smith. Fourth would be the 16 of Clifton Cockrell. And it looks like fifth will be the 37 of Andrew Melvin. Sixth is the 68 of Michael Knight. Seventh, the 33 of Cecil Keith. Eighth will be the 24 of Kenny Powell. Ninth will be Michael Eames. And the 10th, finishing the last car on the lead lap, will be the 43 of Paul Olson.
All right, with us now, we have the 96 of Jeffrey Smith. Jeffrey, the biggest mover of today's race. You're up 16 positions from where you started. Take us through how the race went for you and what you had to do there to secure that P3.
Honestly, I knew coming into this it was just going to be a lot of letting everybody kind of do their thing and fall where they fall and burn their tires up. And we kind of just pushed through there, and a lot of things went our way, and the pit stops kind of went our way. And we got the position there at the end, and I knew I was going to have a really, really good restart. I had a hell of a team in my ear, just kind of calming me down. I knew I was going to have a really good restart there to beat Michael Knight, and I got it.
You surely did move through that field, and patience. I'd call it at the beginning of this race, patience is going to pay off, and you were Mr. Patience tonight, Jeff.
And it takes everything here, man. We've been practicing all week, and just getting the car to come to you and hoping for the best is I mean, it's the name of the game here, unfortunately. And like I said, a lot of things fell our way tonight, and I'm stoked about a podium.
Absolutely. We are so happy to hear from you finally. We've been looking for you all season, but you finally found your way here.
I've been trying, man, and I had a hell of a team behind me all season. You know, these VRT guys, you know, they're top notch. You know, Andrew, Jay, Mike, Tyler, Ron. You know, these guys, they're you know, they're the cream of the crop, and I've learned a lot over the last couple months, and I can't thank them enough for everything, really.
All right, you want to say some thanks to some of your sponsors there? We've already covered your team, and most of them were in this race with you tonight, and they had a little bit less of a luck than you did tonight. So, what about some sponsors for us, bud?
Yeah, really, the only sponsors I got is VRT, Velocity Racing Team, and Andrew and Jay and Mike and Tyler and Ron. I mean, Tyler put together a hell of a paint for me. I love this digital camo, and I mean that's really it is. It's these guys are, like I said, they're top of the notch, and I can't thank them enough.
It was a great job tonight, buddy. And yeah, they did you some solid favors tonight. You finished in P3. Congratulations, Jeffrey Smith.
Thanks, guys.
Let's see if we can get
now.
a
We have the
second place.
74 Stephen West. Stephen, we saw the battling going on hard there at the end of the race. Why don't you walk us through the finish there?
Yeah, I really didn't want to see that caution at the end. We came and took tires, and you know, the rest of them guys didn't. But no, it was good. No, that was good. That was good short track racing there at the end. I don't know. You can't go along with that. Yeah, he did a little slide job on me, but I wouldn't say that I wouldn't do the same back to him. I mean, I tried.
You give it right back. You give it right back, Steve. We are a fan, brother. We're a fan. Not only did you finish second in tonight's race, but you finished second in the championship points.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. That was good.
You absolutely drove the wheels off of that thing tonight, and you avoided all the wrecks, and you finished in a very good position. It was great racing. We've seen the professionalism that you gave Brian Johnson and the professionalism he gave you, and you just took it and just kept on moving. A couple times I thought you were going to lose it.
Yeah, I was just real tight in the center, and Brian was beating me off. No, he was fast all night. He earned that win by no means could I have taken that one away from him. But no, that was good short track racing at the end, bumping on each other a little bit. That was good stuff.
All right, brother. Give us a little promotion here as far as your crew, your team, and sponsors and all that. Give us a little shout out, will you?
All the guys at Phoenix Sim Sport, they're just awesome. You know, they're a good group of guys. It's lots of fun. We don't have any issues amongst us or anything like that. We just have a good time. We hop on here. I mean, we race cup cars down to, you know, IMSA stuff and everything else. So they're awesome to hang out with and to race with. And it just happens to be that they build some fast setups, and I'm lucky enough to be able to drive them.
That's amazing, brother. Well, you did do them proud tonight with not only a second finish in North Wilkesboro, but you also took second in the season championship points. Will we see you back here next season?
Yeah, I'll be back. Hopefully, I'll get some of my teammates back here, and we can have some fun and see what we can do.
Gotcha, buddy. Well, we look forward to seeing you back next season, and congratulations on your second point, or your second. Well, this is probably your 15th second place finish, but
feels
congratulations.
Like
Congratulations on your second position in the championship point standings.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Before we
Thanks,
let you
buddy.
go there, Steve, we're going to hand you off here to Kenny Powell. Kenny Powell's going to hand something out here to you. Kenny.
And you know, great racing with you all season, and you know, great finishes here at the end, and been proud to have you as part of the iRacing Stock Car Association. And before we let you go here today, I'd like to present you with a $35 cash payout for your second place finish here this season.
Awesome, thank you, appreciate it.
Good job, well done.
Drinks on you tonight, Steve.
That's right. Thanks for putting this on, Kenny. I know it's a lot of work on your end and a lot of dedication. And you guys doing the broadcast, everybody up in the broadcast booth, you guys do a great job. It's fun. You know, I got my parents and stuff watching and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely cool.
All right, buddy. I appreciate it. Congratulations on your second.
Great to have you in here, Steve. Now we're going to move on to our race winner tonight of Brian Johnson. Brian, do you have a copy?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Brian, we saw it was just about gloves off there at the end. Why don't you walk us through those last handful of laps out there?
Oh, man, how about that? One heck of a race. First off, I want to say congratulations to Caden on winning the championship. Steven getting second. And how about this race? I mean, he was strong all night, kept me close. The cautions just fell perfect for us. That last caution at the end, we really needed it. I thought Steven was definitely going to run away with that one there at the end, but we lucked out. But, I got to his bumper, raced hard, got to his bumper. Let him know I was there a couple of times. He held on to it. I mean, good for him. I mean, it was one heck of a race, one heck of a finish. So drove it in a little bit hard on lap 188, got into the side of him. I didn't really mean to do that. It just turned into a slide job, but we were just running hard. Short track racing, but had a good time, had a blast. Big shout out to G&G, you, Chris Severa, and Chris Johnson, my brother, and Craig and Kenny. We put together one heck of a car this week, so it was a blast.
You certainly put on a heck of a show tonight. And you were able to pretty much stay out of the wrecks. But that's not too hard to do when you're in the lead, is it?
Oh yeah. If you got that clean air, you can lay down some good laps, and you don't have to worry about. You just have to worry about lap cars when you run up on them, but you don't have to worry about that traffic for sure.
Well, with tonight's win, it did not put you in second in points for the championship tonight, unfortunately, but it does give you a season finale win, and then that's a great thing, and you finished third in points. Next year is going to be a different year. Are we going to see you back next year, Mr. Johnson? Absolutely. If I lost to Steven, that's okay. He's a great competitor. I have a lot of respect for him and his team. Hope to see him back next year, and we'll be duking it out. All right. Do you have any teams, sponsorships, or anything you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, again, shout out to G&G Racing, the Johnson crew, Craig and Chris, and all the G&G guys. It's been one heck of a season, and it's been a blast. Can't wait till next year or next season.
As can we not wait either. So congratulations again, Brian Johnson and the machine, for taking the win, the big W at North Wilkesboro tonight.
Here to present you now with your third place prize in the championship, Kenny Powell.
Yeah, again, Brian, it's been great having you this season. I think we saw some excellent racing up front, and definitely proud to have you, and hopefully you'll come back next year. But for all your great racing and hard work this year, I'll present you with a $20 certificate for your third place in the season finale here.
That's awesome. Thanks, guys.
Congratulations, Brian. Great racing tonight between you and Steve. It was amazing to watch. Let's see if we can get a hold of our season champion, Caden Rush. Caden Rush, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Caden, take us through this race and what happened to put you finishing. What was you, 14th, Caden? Did you not? Your car looked tremendously loose all night long.
Yeah, we were fighting. The car was kind of okay to fire off. We were fighting pretty heavy push loose. For about the first 10 laps or so, it was okay, but after that, just push loose was really an issue. We dialed up some adjustments, 2 stops in a row, and it kind of seemed to fix the car. We definitely didn't have the acceleration we needed to coming off the corner. I don't think it was an issue with the turn in the car. I think it might have just been we had too high of a gear in it. But we were really just fighting push loose earlier, like I said, and after that we kind of got it dialed in. I was trying to get the car settled in to the turn a little bit. It seemed like it was kind of hitting the ground on entry, and I was just having to brake a bit earlier to set the car in. But all in all, we really did fight back. We probably could have finished top 5 there at the end. We got in that incident with Jeffrey, but we had a really up and down night. I'm glad we got back to where we were. Obviously, the race wasn't that important, but we still wanted to get a good finish. We really did fight back, and I'm kind of just glad that we at least showed that we had something, at least, even if we didn't have the best setup tonight.
So did you just finally decide that you've won enough races this year? Is that what you kind of said? Yeah, maybe I don't need to be winning this race tonight.
I wish that's what I could say. I truthfully just we didn't have what we needed to tonight. We kind of missed it. I thought honestly coming in tonight we might have had a decent chance. Short tracks had been some of our best races all year. Phoenix and New Hampshire were both really good races for us. Tonight we just missed it by just a little bit. Wilkesboro in the Cup cars is kind of weird for me. I preferred in the 87 cars a little bit more, but like I said, all in all, we fought back to have a good night, and it sucks that we didn't score a top 5 in the last 3 races of the season by circumstance and stuff. But we did have
don't sell yourself short, Caden, because I was just going to go over your stats tonight here. You look like you've got, this season, you have 4 wins and 9 top 5s out of 12 races. So only 3 of your races this season did you not finish in the top 5, and that's why you are this year's points champion.
Yeah, those last 3 races were definitely up and down. Dover probably could have finished 3rd. Just had a sped coming on a pit road. Daytona, it's obviously Daytona, and then tonight could have had an unfortunate wreck. But like I said in another interview, even if I could just Matt Kenseth my way into the championship and not win more than 1 race, I would have been fine with that. I'm glad we have had some pretty dominant performances and came out with 4 wins and, like you said, 9 top 5s in the year. So we definitely were the most consistent car all year, and I'm just glad that we I'm glad that we came out on top. It was definitely not an easy fight, but we did our best.
Well, you certainly did enough to get you where you are today. Do you have any sponsors or team members you want to thank for all this?
I just want to thank Grayson Sullivan, everybody back at Flying Arrows, Bennett Ben, Austin, Chris, Dylan, John, Jonathan, 2 different people, Michael Carey Media, everybody just back at Flying Arrows. We've put together a really good season. It seems like after about week 4 or 5, we clicked and we did what we needed to do during that middle stretch of the season. I'm glad we got down to where we were, and hopefully next season is even better, and just hopefully everybody has a good off season.
Well, Kane, we were hearing you talk about earlier in the pre-race interviews that you were working on Darlington's set. It looks like next season we will have Darlington on the schedule. Will we be seeing you around for next season?
I sure hope so. I do enjoy Darlington as a racetrack. That probably is one of my more favorite racetracks on iRacing. It seems like it might not be a track that everybody enjoys, but for me, it's one I enjoy. It's always been one of my favorites to watch. It's even on NR 2003, it was one of my favorites to race. So hopefully we can come out and have a good showing for that race.
Well, it was definitely a good showing all season, Caden. And before we let you go here, we're going to hand you off to Kenny Powell so he can present you with this season's championship reward.
Hey, Caden. Great racing.
Thank you, Kenny.
Yeah, it's been a joy to have you all season. The whole crew that been racing, but you definitely put on some great shows this season, and pretty dominating finishes throughout the season there, and it's just been great to watch you. And as this season is our first payout season, I'm here to present you with a $50 certificate for winning the iRacing Stock Car Association Season 3.
Thank you very much.
Wow, it looks like Caden, the drinks are on you tonight. We were going to let Stephen West buy them, but you got yourself a pocket full of money.
Yeah, not quite at that age yet, but I'm sure other people are.
Well, you can probably spend some of that on a setup for North Wilkesboro.
You're probably not wrong.
Congratulations, Caden. It's been an honor watching this season, and we've talked about you a lot. You well-deserved championship. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Al.
And thank everybody for tuning in for another season of the iRacing Stock Car Association. Again, we want you guys to stay up to date at iRacingStockCarAssociation.com. You can follow us again here on Twitch if you're not already. And in 2 weeks' time, we should be back here in Bristol. I believe we'll be kicking it off for next season.
Well, thanks for joining me tonight, Chris Severa, and maybe we will have you back a couple, 2 or 3 times next season, and I look forward to getting back with, Jacob Hits. We do miss Jacob. He is off venturing on some other ventures, and hopefully he'll be back with us a couple times next season. Until next season, my name is Al Kozlowski. Have a great night.